So I've been a farmer for a while right now, and there are a few people who I occasionally visit or get to deal with who have farms, and I'm looking at them and I'm telling myself, this person should just never have started a farm. I might not say it directly in their eyes, but in my heart I'm yelling to scream it out. And well, today I've got the opportunity to be telling it to you guys. So if you're this kind of person, just don't start a farm. Don't waste your time. You're going to lose money. It's certainly not something for you. Go do your job. You're more likely to have great luck and make wealth right there than starting a farm, because a farm is not for you if you're this kind of person. So stick around through to the end of the video so that you find out whether it's you I'm talking about or not. First, people who are very bad at taking risks. Farming is a highly risky profession. It's a very, very risky profession. And it's very true. It's probably a bit riskier than a lot of other things because of a few factors. Number one, it's not very regulated in a lot of parts of the world. For example, for us here in Uganda, it's not so regulated. You don't have, a lot of authorities chasing you left, right, and center, which can be a good thing, but can also be a bad thing. So it can be a good thing because, it enables for, innovation, coming up with new ideas without having too much rules and people stressing you about this and that. It can also be a really bad thing because what that means is that, for example, you can have a lot of people who are manipulative, who, will just do stuff their own way. And what that means is that it creates a lot of, being fragile in the whole farming business. Yeah, it's very, very fragile because of that lack of regulation. But number two, it depends a lot on the weather. Yeah, so as you guys can see, we have sunshine right now. It's currently the rainy season, so we are well and good. Well, the rains probably came maybe 2 weeks later than we usually expect. And then right now the rains might disappear. Now it has been raining for maybe a week or two. We've planted, for example, we've planted maize. The rains can just decide to disappear, and once they disappear, your maize has started germinating. It dries. Terrible, very terrible idea. Yeah. So because of that, it's quite risky, inherently risky. Yeah. If you look at my poultry farm, for example, it's quite easy for people to just come in randomly if I don't put in place this proper set of rules and things like that, and the chickens could die. Every time I'm moving around people and I'm telling them, I'm doing farming, for example, I do a poultry farm, they keep asking me, is that too risky? I feel like I want to start a farm, but it's too risky. I'm like, yeah, well, you probably had it right. And the reason they say it's risky is because they've had a lot of other people's stories where people have lost animals and things like that. Now, of course, risk can be reduced. And personally, I feel like my farms are not risky, or my poultry business is not risky, because I've figured it out. I've utilized knowledge and experience to reduce or lower the risk. Yeah. But for someone who's just starting out, it's honestly quite risky compared to a lot of other businesses. Yeah. So when you're going to join, or when you're starting, you need to understand that at the beginning you're going to probably put in a lot of money, and it's probable that you could lose some of that money or a lot of that money, and you should be okay with that, as you learn and things like that. Yeah. So if you're not that kind of person, come on, things might get really terrible. I remember my second batch of chickens, 1,000 chickens I brought in. I lost about 200 of them in the first 2 weeks or so, and then literally lost all the money. Yeah. About $16,000 on that flock. So if you're the kind of person who would faint if you lose $16,000, just don't try it. Don't. It's not for you. Number two, if you're indecisive, so you're the kind of person who doesn't make your mind up, you don't decide, then farming is not for you, because farming works on time. I'll give you a quick example. So like I've said, the rains delayed to come, for example, this time, and they finally came. When they come, you're thinking to yourself, well, have they really come? Because if I wait, maybe I wait 2 more weeks. If I wait 2 more weeks, maybe I'll be a bit more certain, so I'll have proper rains. But maybe if I wait 2 more weeks, I might plant at the point whereby, later on, the sun really burns the maize. Yeah. And so these 2 weeks that I waited actually turned out to be the bad thing, and probably I should have planted much earlier. Yeah. So you have to decide. Recently I had an experience, where I had to buy maize. So the prices of maize dropped around the Christmas period, and I bought a bit of maize, but I wanted to buy a bit more. But I had a bit of caution. I was like, no, I don't think this is the perfect time. Let me buy a little bit later. Let me wait a little bit later. The price is going to drop down further. It didn't drop It didn't drop, and it hasn't dropped up to now, and it's actually going up right now. And I keep thinking to myself, whoa, I wish I had bought at that time. I wish I had bought at that time. Why? Because I was indecisive. Yeah. So farming, because it depends a lot on the weather, and because of its, I would say, volatility, it's very fragile and volatile. You need to be very decisive. Yeah. And you need to stick with your decision. So if you're the kind of person who takes 1 month, 2 weeks to make a tiny decision, you're in trouble. When it does come to chickens, for example, if they get a particular disease or a sickness, or they start showing you particular symptoms, maybe they reduce their feed consumption, you need to make sure that you act immediately, because if you don't act, you need to make sure that it's an informed decision to not act because of particular reasons. Otherwise, if you just let things just happen, by the time you act 3 days later, you could have lost half the flock or all of the flock. So it's really important that you're decisive. So if you're the indecisive nature, farming is not for you. Number 3, if you're terrible at sales, forget about farming. Very important, yeah? Because when it does come to farming, I mean, in the end, you're going to be selling a particular product. You're going to be selling beef or a cow or a goat or vegetables or maize, something. You're going to be selling something, eggs, chickens, yeah? And because of that, you're going to have put in quite an amount of money, and you're going to expect to get back money. A lot of farm produce is, I would say, perishable, yeah, very perishable. Apart from a few things like eggs, which can last a month. But like chicken, for example, now chicken is not perishable, but if you keep keeping it on the farm, they're going to keep eating and you're going to lose money. Vegetables, perishable. Fruits, very perishable. Cereals, you can keep them for a while, but not for too long. They get destroyed. So you need to make sure that you understand how to sell. And because, again, there's not too much regulation about things like prices, when it does come to things like farm stuff that's produced on the farm, it's very critical and very important how you actually decide to, keep the animals. It's very important how you decide to keep, the cattle. It's very important how you decide to sell the animals. It's very important how you decide to negotiate on the price of these things. Yeah. A difference in price of like 10% could mean that your farm goes out of business. A difference in price of like 5% could mean that your farm makes so much extra money and you become a millionaire. Yeah. So you need to understand how to negotiate, especially considering that there's a lot of middlemen when it does come to farming. Yeah. Farming has too many middlemen trying to eat money, and because farmers just haven't practiced the art of negotiation, these middlemen just take advantage of the people. Yeah. They do everything they can to take advantage of people. So again, very, very important that you learn how to sell for you to become a good farmer who makes a lot of money out of your farm. If you don't know how to sell, forget about farming. You're just going to waste your time, lose money, get frustrated, lose all your money to middlemen, and just go back home and hate farming forever. 4, if you lack a sense of responsibility, you can't be a farmer. What does it mean to lack a sense of responsibility? Or what does a sense of responsibility mean? A sense of responsibility means that if something goes wrong on the farm, it's my problem. And if something goes well on the farm, it's me. Now, most people don't mind the second option, yeah, of, things are going well on the farm, it's me who did it. But most people want to blame other people for what goes wrong on the farm. Yeah. So I personally am the farm owner, for example. If something goes wrong on the farm, I'm the one to blame. It's not the workers to blame. It's not the manager to blame. It's no one's problem. It is my problem. That is why it's very important that I understand who to make the leader on the farm and who to not make a leader on the farm, who to give what responsibility, and how to make particular decisions, how to take risk, how to deal with the sales and all those things. Everything is my responsibility. Yeah. So if you're the kind of farmer who's going to be there throwing blame on other people, then you're certainly going to fail. Yeah. Because most probably you're just giving these people jobs. Yeah. It's not their thing. It's not their thing. And secondly, you have the responsibility of ensuring that you have the right person in that place. Yeah. Despite the fact that the person who works in the chicken house might be the one who has caused the problems, I'm responsible for placing them there, and I'm responsible for ensuring that I have the right person in that position. Yeah. So if you're not the kind of person who takes responsibilities for failures, then most probably you're never going to make it as a farmer, because a lot of mistakes are going to happen and it's going to be someone else's problem. You're going to try and correct everyone else besides yourself, and in the end the farm is just going to end up failing. And finally, number 5, if you don't know how to dissipate authority, don't know how to be a leader, then forget about owning a farm. Yeah. So I do know people who own farms, they have money, they have everything, but they just don't have the sense of authority You understand? They don't know how to tell someone on the farm that do this and don't do this. They don't know how to fire their manager, for example. Just don't know how to hold authority. And so even the workers will look down on them. Everyone will just look down on them. If you're that kind of person, farming is not for you. When it does come to farming, you need to make sure that you understand authority, you can hold authority, and you ooze authority. When people look at you, they see authority. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a dictator or an authoritarian leader, no. But people should respect you. Yeah, you need to make sure that the people see you, respect you, they listen to what you say, they implement what you say, and then most likely you're going to have very, very great days as a farmer. Now, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Now, if you want to start a poultry farm and build a poultry farm that can make you lots and lots of money, I've made the Farm Up Academy. This is a course where you can join and you can learn everything that you want to learn about starting and building a successful and profitable poultry farm. I'll leave a link for you to join the Farm Up Academy in the description below. Check it out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell. Catch you very soon with another video. Lots of love. Bye-bye.